It's June 26, 2024. I am Joel Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. Jeremy Lambert is here. I feel like we've been here before, though. This feels familiar. I feel like we just did something here.
I've talked to you way too much since the show on Monday.
Right? It's kind of a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know why we do this.
Not a fan.
Me neither, especially when you're calling me during Do Not Disturb hours.
True. Called Joel last night.
I had no idea that my phone went to Do Not Disturb that early. Normally it's like 10:30. For some reason, 9:30 it was on. I was like, oh, that's weird because you told me to call you. I'm like, oh, I missed a call from Jeremy Lambert. What's this all about?
Tried calling Joel at 9:30, a little after 9:30. I was like, we got to talk about something. Then just went straight to voicemail. I'm like, oh, he's just ignoring my calls. He's like, yeah, I've been talking to Jeremy past really after the show. And so I decided to text you like, hey, give me a call. We got it all figured out though.
Yes, we did. And we'll talk about it very shortly. Very excited for that. It's going to be a fun day. We've got, listen, tell you what, how about we drop an interview at 11 o'clock? How about around 11 o'clock? We did an interview with TNA Knockout Gisele Shaw. We're going to air that one at 11 o'clock Eastern. How about that? So about an hour's time, we're going to do that. And we got a lot to talk about. I mean, shoot, if we're not dropping news over on Fightful Select, then we're talking about what happened on Monday Night Raw. Not much to talk about on NXT. The show just happened, and we just had a couple matches announced. But there's plenty to talk. There's plenty to talk about. How about we'll talk about the WrestleMania documentary? How about we talk about that? Maybe we'll talk about. You think Kevin Owens' kid is going to be a WWE superstar?
He might. He's only 16 though. He got a little while. He's a big dude. 6'8".
Why? First of all, people who have known what Kevin Owens' kid, Owen Owens, as he's so lovingly called, if you knew about Kevin Owens' kid, from like he was always like this short kid. He wasn't, he wasn't that big. And all of a sudden, one day there was a new photo of him, and like he had sprouted. The kid was bigger than Kevin. Not that Kevin's like the tallest dude in the world, but like Kevin's about 6'2", and this kid was towering over his daddy. I'm like, holy crap. So, pretty cool that according to NHL Now, Kevin Owens had said that his son had stepped into the ring for the first time. That's pretty wild.
Well, according to Kevin Owens on NHL Now.
Yes. Well, yeah, it was on it was on NHL Now. Kevin Owens said blah 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 blah.
All right, we have something to say, don't we, Joel?
Yes, we do.
We have breaking news.
We do,
everybody. Yes, we. Us specifically.
Specifically. If you checked your Fightful Select app, or the Patreon as it is, maybe you just saw something pop up along your feed. Well, that's because of us, kind of.
If you follow Sean on Twitter, he's awake, or he scheduled this tweet, one or the other. You might have seen some news as well.
That's true.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I guess it is my beat. So we're very excited. We interviewed the newest signees to TNA Wrestling, Sinner and Saint. The tag team have officially signed with TNA Wrestling. We had a quick conversation with them this morning at 9 a.m. That's what Jeremy and I were talking about when we said I was on Do Not Disturb mode. We were trying to get that all set up last night. But we're given the opportunity to announce that signing and also give you guys a little bit of a look into this tag team. They've been really popular, not only on the indies, but also they're getting a good start with TNA Wrestling. So we're really excited to present that interview. Shall we jump to it right now?
Yes, congratulations to Sinner and Saint signing with TNA Wrestling. We had a fun chat with them this morning. Everybody's going to hear this interview now. Big TNA day here on the show today. We got Sinner and Saint. We got Gisele Shaw. Joel's taking over the show.
We're talking about everybody, baby. Let's go to it. Judas Icarus, Travis Williams, together they are Sinner and Saint, the newest tag team signed to TNA Wrestling. Here we go. Pearl, Jeremy Lambert, we're here in the weeds, and we're very excited to welcome a very special tag team and make a very special announcement. Judas Icarus and Travis Williams join us now. They are collectively known as Sinner and Saint, and you can now call them the newest tag team signees to TNA Wrestling. Congratulations, fellas. How you doing this morning?
Thank you so much. I'm doing well. Yeah, we're good. Thank you very much.
Well, Good. Well, congratulations on the deal. Thanks for joining us this morning. Talk to us. Let us know what went into the decision to sign with TNA.
Well, first, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. It's very exciting, obviously, for the both of us. It's such a big opportunity. I think it's obviously, I don't want to speak for Judas here, but it's the biggest opportunity, I think, for our careers. And really, the decision was pretty obvious, when we were given the opportunity. And yeah, we're really excited for what the future holds.
Yeah. You guys, when you had your debut match airing on TNA Impact, a lot of the Canadian talent had plenty to say, mostly positive, obviously. What was that feeling like as Canadians yourselves?
Yeah, I mean, we make our rounds around Canada and on the East Coast and the West Coast, and we know a lot of the Canadian talent pretty well. So it was really awesome to get some admiration from our peers, obviously. So we're really hoping to see them around there too eventually. So yeah, it was pretty awesome.
What was the match like with the Rascals? That was when you kind of made your big TNA debut, and Rascals one of the top teams in TNA. So what was the reaction to that match? Because our boss, Sean Ross Sapp, he posted a photo of this match, and it got a lot of buzz online. And so what was the reaction backstage and online to the match that you guys saw?
Backstage, honestly, it was pretty positive, and obviously we were happy about that. We're obviously weren't happy that we didn't get the win in that night. It would have been a big upset over the Rascals being one of the very best tag teams in the world. And surprisingly, honestly, online there was a lot of positive feedback as well. And sometimes you never know how it's going to be. So it was a great feeling to know that people enjoyed the match that we put on with the Rascals, and it was an honor working with them, and I don't think it'll be the last. So
yeah.
One of the more underrated tag teams in TNA, in my opinion, are the Good Hands. It's another team that you've had the opportunity to share the ring with that aired on Explosion. Talk to me about working with the Good Hands, and also how much are you looking forward to getting that win back?
Sure, yeah. So I mean, it's like pretty, different experiences having the Rascals on our very first go at it on Impact, and then having the Good Hands for the Explosion match. I mean, it was a completely different experience for both of them, but yeah, they're insanely talented, and we had a really good time with them in the ring. But it was I think there's more to that story that can be written between the two of us. I feel like there was a lot going on in there, and I'm excited to hopefully do it against them again, obviously.
Yeah, that's one I hope that we get a run.
Yeah.
I know more about your history as a tag team in the past, and let fans know as well.
Sure.
Like, what kind of brought you guys together and started this run for you guys?
So yeah, we I think we were wrestling for, I'd say, maybe 5 or 6 years before we actually started teaming up.
Yeah.
We wrestled each other plenty of times, just kind of all over Canada, mostly here in BC, on Vancouver Island.
All through COVID, 2 60-minute Ironman matches against each other.
Yeah,
crazy times.
So we got to know each other pretty well through that. And then it wasn't even our decision, if I'm being honest. It was through Defy. They decided to put us together as a team, and we honestly weren't sure how to feel about it at the time. And obviously, it worked out pretty well. It was 2022 December is when we first teamed up, and coming up on 2 years now. So it's been pretty exciting, and I think just the extensive knowledge of each other. Through wrestling each other so many times and knowing each other and kind of coming up in the Vancouver independent scene together has really helped us a lot.
Yeah, I think like tag team wrestling as a whole too, like I was pretty lost on, I'd been in tag teams before, but like actually kind of getting into it and getting into a whole bunch of different companies, like specifically with him, has been super insanely crazy. So it's really brought a brand new appreciation for a whole part of wrestling that I enjoyed before, but now I love. Like I'm tag team wrestling is the one that I go to watch probably first now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which is cool.
Quick follow up on that. You mentioned you did the 2 Ironman matches. So when you were paired together, did that familiarity, I could speak. Did that familiarity help you out after doing those Iron Man matches? Of like, all right, I kind of know what you like to do a little bit here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because exactly, it's like I kind of know, like, when he's best to be striking, you know what I mean, and best to be hitting stuff, you know what I mean. I know where he's gonna pop in and help me and everything. Like that was already like in the back of my mind because I already knew all the stuff that he was, beating me up with. So it felt already pretty familiar, which was weird because again, we had never done it before and we didn't even know that's something we would want to do, right? So yeah.
And how did you guys come up with the tag team Sinner and Saint?
Judas Stickers was the born sinner for a while, and it just felt natural. It just kind of felt right. I was doing a Golden Boy character at the time, and it kind of felt like the right thing that needed to be done. So it worked.
Yeah, we were hesitant. Like it seemed like a pretty big commitment. It seemed like it's a pretty interesting name, but I feel like it also just kind of raises some initial interest just seeing the name to begin with. So it felt like the right choice. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Did you guys follow a lot of TNA wrestling growing up? I don't know how available it was in Canada when you were younger, but did you follow a lot of TNA growing up?
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. It was hard to avoid it. I mean, it was everywhere. So that's something that I watched a lot of when I was younger, when I was 14, 15, 16, when I was really encapsulated with wrestling. TNA was always on, just because it obviously provided so much great wrestling, and the lineage of talent that has walked through those doors is remarkable. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, obviously so unique in the presentation too. So that's what really caught my eye. Yeah.
Yeah, as a fellow Canadian, I can attest to that. Found TNA in Canada and having flipping channels and being like, oh yeah, there's something else wrestling with. Go.
Let's. No, it was like super accessible like when I was growing up. So it was awesome.
Go ahead. Do you have any thoughts on the 6-sided ring? Then I know it's not coming back. I know a lot of wrestlers have said it's not good. It's not, for safety reasons, they don't want to bring it back because it's hard to bump in and everything. But as a fan, well, 2 questions, I guess. As a fan, what do you think of the 6-sided ring? And 2, have you wrestled in a 6-sided ring?
As a fan, I would say it was very cool and it's very unique. As a wrestler, I'm gonna take everyone else's word on it. It sucked. Yeah, it sucked to wrestling, so maybe it's okay. But yeah, I think I've never wrestled in a 6-sided ring. There's actually a 5-sided ring locally here, just across the border. I never got a chance to wrestle on that ring.
Wow, that works.
Maybe just for the experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would for sure, but just because like think of like the crazy things you could probably do. Like it is so unique, and like the way you can like hit the ropes at different parts, and the way you can just like jump up on different turnbuckles. Like there's probably a lot of like expansion room for like different tag team maneuvers and stuff. But like looking at it from the outside, it just looks like so confusing. Like I don't even know where I would begin to like brainstorm what those maneuvers would look like and stuff. But I feel like once you kind of got the hang of it and what the hang of, because I'd be like hitting the ropes and like whipping people. It's like, dude, I have no
It's
clue.
impressive that so many people did it and it looks so good.
Yeah, I'd have a tough time.
Yeah.
Take a note here. Send Sinner and Saints to Mexico ASAP. So as you guys are starting to mix it up more in TNA, obviously you're going to be, in the ring with more and more tag teams. Who are you looking forward to? I mean, even singles, there might be some opportunities. Who are you guys collectively, individually looking forward to mixing it up with in TNA?
I mean, the matches that we've already had have been really something that I'd like to build on. Again, like the Good Hands, and the Rascals are really big names that I feel like there's a lot of room for. Bay, and Ace Austin as well. ABC, I feel like they are, again, like one of the top teams around right now, and I'd love to get a shot at them. And then obviously the tag champs, the System. I would love to get a shot at them just to, even get a shot at the belts if nothing else. I would I think that's like obviously one of our goals going in. I think it would be stupid to not have that as one of our goals. So that's got to be top. So I mean, you know, whenever that comes, we'll try and be ready for it. But I think those are a couple of the big ones.
It's such an exciting time right now, with just so much talent in TNA. Again, back to, you know, our decision to sign with TNA. It's like, it's obvious, you know, there's just so much opportunity for so many great matches for us, and so much learning and so much growing as a tag team. I think that's honestly what I'm excited for most. So it's like, honestly, I mean, it's cliche to say, but anybody and everybody, I think we're like very excited to step in the ring. And yeah, hopefully we can work our way up and get a shot at the system one day. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, starting like with the how we did, it's just
yeah, it's been so cool. It's been very yeah.
What, if any, has been an adjustment to the television side of things and like wrestling and working for a television audience, and who has helped you out kind of in that aspect of things?
Sure. So I mean, obviously on the independents, we have like at least a base knowledge of kind of like, you know, the TV side of things. Like I've been like myself just on a couple like Shaw and like Roger tapings that like independent companies do. So there is like the idea of a hard cam and roaming cameras, and especially, or like audiences that are just like larger than like what, you know, most independents are usually ready for. So I you know, we kind of have a very small base idea of what to expect and stuff, but like obviously being in it and having the eyes that are backstage and having the eyes that are, you know, within TNA that are also watching what we're doing and able to like give us you know, little tips and learners. Like there's so much to it. Like there's like literally so much to it. Like sometimes it can feel like overwhelming, like the amount of stuff that you're not really paying attention to that you think isn't there. Like you feel like you kind of got the gist of it, and then like there's just so many other pieces and parts where, you know, there's so much to be learning. So yeah, I mean, like you know, backstage we get a lot of hints and tips from all kinds of people. Like it's literally such a plethora. I think that's one of like the coolest parts of like walking in, is like everyone is willing to give us, you know, advice and willing to kind of like help us out back there. Like it was crazy the amount of people that came up to us and just like told us, you know, something about our match or something good or something we could work on about our match just in the last, you know, the last like 3 matches we've had.
No, I mean, all of that, it's a learning curve, I'd say. I mean, especially I'd say for me, it's I never really have worked in that environment, television environment. So yeah, it's a big learning curve. But yeah, there's so much feedback, and yeah, there's so much growing to do.
Yeah.
Jeremy and I have been really lucky to speak to a lot of different wrestlers from all around the world. And one thing that we've noticed in speaking with West Coast based wrestlers is the representation has gone up over the last few years. What do you guys attribute that to? Because you guys are coming out from the West Coast as well, and there have been a lot of eyes out there lately.
Yeah, I'd say obviously there's a lot of very talented wrestlers who have kind of shined a brighter light. There's also a lot of great independent companies that have really helped, you know, take the West Coast to a bigger platform. I know that's West Coast Pro Prestige, it's Defy, you know, it's NAW here in Vancouver. It's just companies that have really helped to grow the scene. And then obviously there's the very talented wrestlers such as Kyle O'Reilly, Chelsea Green, El Phantasmo, you know, the Bollywood Boys, a lot of guys who have gone out and you know, showcased their talents. And it's obviously, you know, attracted a lot of viewers to the West Coast, which is very exciting.
Yeah, because I feel like when we were kind of coming up, like the Pacific Northwest specifically was called as the black hole of independence, and for no other reason other than just like not being able to be seen. Like we didn't have a lot of eyes on us other than like what the West Coast had, you know what I mean? Like we didn't have you know, access really. There people we weren't streaming on, you know, like the IWTVs and these kinds of things, you know what I mean? Like the streaming sites. And so now just like coming up and kind of, you know, yeah, like you said, like the company's kind of getting more notoriety, and then also the wrestlers that are kind of coming up in our scene and are kind of floating further out to the East Coast where, you know, I mean, those eyes are, and then, you know, obviously we're trying to do the same for Vancouver and the West Coast entirely. Like if we can, you know, kind of show out for them and open up the scene a little bit and bring some eyes over, that's what I want more than anything. Yeah.
And that's the other thing, is like so much support from everyone here and in Washington and in Portland, and like you kind of said, online there's a lot of support. It's been so cool. We just have such a great community of people down here, specifically at the Lionsgate Dojo in Vancouver. Like just so many people that are like, you know, backing us honestly, and just it's very cool. But like Judas said, like the kind of to carry that West Coast pride on our backs is something we look forward to.
Nicole Matthews, who once made me sit down on the floor with her for an interview, literally on the floor.
I believe it. That makes
Down to her.
Yep.
Judas, I've noticed your coffee mug during this. Big coffee mug guy, so I have to ask, what does your coffee mug say?
This one says San Francisco. This is actually part of Travis's household. I actually have a very extensive mug collection at my house as well. That's one of the parts I was really excited with this interview, because there's a lot of really awesome mugs that I could have brought out for this interview. I have one that says like all my children have paws. I don't have any cats or dogs. I like pretty funny. There's a lot of ones I was kind of upset I couldn't bring today, but today.
Let's see. Now we got to have you back on just to do the interview. I'll have a coffee mug here. I have not had my coffee this morning, but yes, I have a bunch of coffee mugs that I like showing off on the show. So next time I have you on, we'll show off a coffee mug collections.
Cheers to that. Cool.
All right, before we let you go, we play a little game on the show. It's called Partner Promo, a Punch in the Face. You guys are a tag team, so we're going to play this a little, well, similar but different. I guess let me tell you the premise of this whole thing. You're going to pick, I've got 3 teams, I should say, and we're going to pick which one you want to partner with, and let's call it an 8-man tag. Which one you want to promo off within the ring, and which ones you want to punch in the face, have a good old-fashioned tag team match with. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. We're going to pick the System, Edward Edwards and Brian Myers. We're going to pick, I call them Ace of Bays, but of course they're known as ABC on TNA. And of course, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Boys, Sinner, Saint, partner, promo, punch in the face.
Well, okay, so
I know who I want to punch in the face, I think.
okay.
The tag team champion.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll say that. And then partner, yeah.
The Hardys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then promo for sure. ABC. Those guys, we should go back and forth pretty well. But partner with Iron Boys,
The Hardy Boys would be pretty cool. Yeah. Agreed. I mean, but also punch them in the face would also be pretty cool.
yeah. Well, like
Or promo on it.
face. Punch him in the face.
Punch them in the face in a respectful manner.
Yeah.
Yeah, after the match, you shake
Love
hands.
you.
Yeah.
You're my
He goes after the
favorite.
Guys, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. And again, we want to congratulate you, new TNA signees, Sinner and Saint, Travis Williams, Judas Icarus. And of course, you can catch TNA Impact and all the stars at 2300 Arena in Philadelphia this Friday and Saturday, June 28th and 29th. TNA Slammiversary is July 20th in Montreal at the Verdun Auditorium. And all the TNA action is available on TNA Plus. Gentlemen, I want to give you the last word to plug, say what you want, and then we'll be good.
Mhm.
I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to plug the Lionsgate Dojo in Vancouver. If you're looking to train, if you're looking to get better, if you're looking to grow, Lionsgate Dojo, Nicole Matthews, Artemis Spencer, Tony Baroni, Billy Swade, some of the best coaches and mentors you'll ever get to meet. So yeah, that's my plug. And then also at Pro T Williams on Twitter and Instagram.
Come on. I would just like to say, as well as the Lionsgate Dojo in Vancouver, if you're on Vancouver Island, we have Pro Wrestling Academy, where I was trained with Eddie Osborne in Victoria, BC. As well as that, I'm the Judas Icarus on Twitter and Judas Icarus on Instagram. And just like insomnia,
That's to stay up.
These guys, they're very good. Unmute yourself. Talk to
I did. I unmuted myself. I apologize. I mute because when you're like backstage, I don't know if you can like hear me even if the video runs. So I mute just in case.
No, you can't hear anything.
Well, I don't want, something hot mic coming on. And
I feel you.
yeah. Now that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun that they joined us for that interview. We got to break the news that they have signed. Look forward to seeing them more in the future. We've already I booked us another interview with them, Joel. With me and Judas are just gonna talk about coffee mugs.
That's fine by me. Honestly, that's kind of what this show is all about. We don't talk about wrestling. We talk about the fun stuff in their rooms. I got people sending me, photos of wrestling related what do you call it? License plates. So like, really, what are we doing here? We're just setting up what we need to do. Congratulations again to Travis Williams and Judas Icarus. I said it on Twitter. I love Canadian wrestlers, especially because I am Canadian, getting major company deals and working hard to get them. And I also love being able to talk to them and break that news and celebrate with them. So really, really amazing to sit down with Sinner and Saint. And, when they debuted at the TNA tapings in Kentucky, and I know we mentioned that Sean was there for those tapings, and, things kind of went from there. People were excited. I know a lot of the TNA Canadian talent were excited to see those guys because they are Pacific Northwestern guys. And it's really cool to see people rally around local talents that they've been fans with, been in the ring with, and get to see grow because these guys are young. They're in their mid-20s. This is pretty cool.
Look forward to continuing to follow their career in TNA. Joel will have everybody's Joel will have the information for everybody every Thursday on the TNA post show.
Yeah, that's what we do. Crest and I break down the shows. It's a post show. What do we talk about? We talk about what happens on TNA Impact every Thursday after the Ring of Honor post show. That's we're usually around 10:10 Eastern. So check that out. But yeah, and then later on today we're gonna have our interview with Gisele Shaw air as well. It's very weird doing these airing videos, Jeremy, especially ones where we were just on screen doing it, and I'm like, what's going on here? It's very strange.
We did one taped interview with the Son of Surfer Sting.
That's right.
We did one taped interview in like the first year and a half of this show. And then all of a sudden we did 2 in 3 days.
We got to stop letting that happen. We need to take the power back and be like, nope, we do it live. That's how we operate. No reasons to fix any of the audio. I don't need to do I do it with all these. I do it with a lot of interviews these days. I love when talent come and join us. I wish everyone could walk around with a USB microphone, but I understand that's not as important to people when they're doing interviews and they're on the road. I get it. Anyway, the Gisele Shaw interview is going to be great as well. All right,
that was a lot of fun. We got to talk about Taylor Swift. That's all I was concerned about.
That's true. Looking forward to that. We're gonna relive that conversation. It was very fun. So yeah, where do you want to start? I mean, I guess we should probably start. I'll start best wishes to Jim Ross, to JR. He had tweeted out that he was admitted to the ER again, had difficulty breathing. He's optimistic that he's fine. We don't know what his Forbidden Door status is going to be. I know that we had the same thing happen to him around Double or Nothing back in May, where he was admitted to hospital. Unfortunately, couldn't make the show. Hopefully this time things are different and he's able to make it, but we want to send our best to Jim Ross. Don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
No, best wishes to JR. Yeah, he was supposed to be at Forbidden Door. He said he was going to be there, but of course things can change now with his health. So best wishes to him. RIP Sika Anawai. He passed away yesterday. And condolences to him and the entire family. Obviously, we know about the bloodline. We know how big that family is. So, a loss like that is pretty impactful. For those that don't know, along with being one half of the Wild Samoans, Sika was also Roman Reigns' father. So that's just tough on a human level for Roman and everything he's going through. So condolences to the whole family.
They were able to share a very special on-screen moment back in 2020 where Sika did, put the Ulafala on Roman Reigns and call him the tribal chief officially. So those little moments mean the most. And another person, unfortunately, Pat McAfee lost his father-in-law on Monday. This was really this was really unfortunate for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, losing a loved one is never fun. It's never easy. I can speak as someone who lost my father a couple of months ago. With Pat, this was at a time when, you know, WWE was in his backyard. They were in Indianapolis. Easy for me to say. They just announced the deal with WrestleMania and Royal Rumble 2025, and then the SummerSlam, like the big deal in Indianapolis. There was a lot of celebration, and unfortunately, Pat said that after the show on Monday, he was called to the hospital where the family gathered, and unfortunately, that was the end for his father-in-law. And of course, that would play into Monday Night Raw as well, because Pat wasn't on the show. The Miz took over for at least the first hour, and they just kind of played around that. So we send our best to Pat and his family. That was it's not an easy loss. No loss is easy, but that was another one on the docket for Monday.
Yeah, yeah. Just condolences to everyone, the Anawati family, the McAfee family, and let's talk about something positive.
Where should we start?
I mean, I like how we're gonna let's talk about something positive, and then I feel like the biggest news of the week is, how'd you feel when your brother died?
Yeah, there's no easy way to segue into that segment, but it also was the most enthralling part of Monday Night Raw. I made the joke, you know, the lore perverts weren't as shaken by those words, because Clash at the Castle, the QR code was the Hangman, not Adam Page, but the Hangman game, and guess the letters, and that's what it was. How did you feel when your brother died? And I was like, oh, I've heard this before. So the video itself, though, this is so cool in that you and I sat here and we're like, how is this going to play out? How should this work? What should they do? And next thing you know, they're doing this presentation. Let's dig into it, because I know you'll have your thoughts, and I'm going to share mine. This all starts a little spooky. You got Chad Gable comes back and says, "I'm not dead. I cannot die," and then he wins his triple threat qualifier for Money in the Bank. And then all of a sudden, the lights turn out, the smoke comes in, and Nikki Cross, who's assuming she plays Abigail, she brings a big package, and this package in a beat up box is presented to Michael Cole, and Cole says it's a videotape when he opens it up. I love the crowds chanting, "Open it, open it." And he opens the box, and there's a videotape inside, and he says, "VHS. I don't know if we have a VHS machine. Run this to the back. Let's see if we can get it in a VHS player." And then they run the video. And
Ryan is saying, real quickly, is saying, can we talk about Cole saying VHS player and not saying VCR? Michael Cole is this is what he does. Remember, this is all Wyatt lore. What did Michael Cole call the box that Bray Wyatt popped out of at WrestleMania? Not a box, not a Jack in the Box, which is what it was. A box-like structure. So Michael Cole is just playing into the lore. Bless Michael Cole.
That's right. And the man also was going solo for most of that show. He knew what he was saying. A VHS player. And also, listen, it's easy for us who are of the VHS generation to know what a VHS is, but that doesn't mean everyone else does. So a VCR it's not a VHS player. So one day they're going to do the same thing with a DVD, and people are going to be like, the hell is this? It's a disc. What is that? What's a disc? We need to find a disc player. Same shit's going to happen. Listen, would have been funnier, infinitely funnier, if it was like, this is a Betamax cassette. I don't know if we have a Betamax player. And then just someone's like, I guess we can find one.
Michael Cole should have made like a Blockbuster reference. Be like, oh, this is 30 years overdue. Blockbuster. Nobody gets it. Just like, huh? What? What is Michael Cole talking about?
That would have been great.
They did not rewind the tape. They're going to be charged extra for it.
But yeah, they had to put it in one of those self-rewinder systems.
Those things ruled. Bless those things. Old.
I saw, shout out to Alex Queen in the Ring. She posted something about the Wyatts have upgraded their technology, because there was the one QR code where they had floppy disks out on the table.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see that they're coming up in the world of technology. This is just another sign of that. Yeah. So let's dig in. The actual video is played. Shout out to 4x3 box technology and the video. Dig in. Tell me what you thought, and tell me what did it for you. Give me the content.
I was obviously very curious about this, but when Uncle Howdy says, "How did you feel when your brother died?" I literally out loud was just like, Jesus. I did not expect them to go there. I just didn't. And then when he said, do you feel like you're exploiting your brother's death? I didn't expect them to go there either. That's obviously been a topic of conversation with this. I'm going to try to choose my words carefully here because I don't want to end up on Reddit again.
They don't watch the show. They only share the
Yeah,
tweets.
I know.
So you're fine.
Yeah. I think there's a line between exploitation and honoring, right? Like, I think for the most part, we see that they are paying tribute and honoring Bray. That's what Bo talked about in this therapy session. All he wanted to do was be tag team champions with his brother. All he wanted to do is take over the wrestling world with his brother. And the moment they got there, when they were doing this storyline, he lost it all. And he said that no one hurts more from this than me, which I 100% believe. There is a thin line, I'm thin, but there's a line between honoring and exploitation, because there was a lot of criticism. I don't know about a lot, but there was criticism of like, oh, they're exploiting Bray's death. How are they allowing Taylor, Bo Dallas, to essentially grieve on air less than a year after his brother has passed? They shouldn't be doing this. We talked about when they came back. I think everyone has good intentions with this. Does that mean it's going to work? Not necessarily. But I think everyone, certainly the performers involved, certainly Bo, Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, Nikki Cross, Dexter Loomis, we know Eric Rowan and Bray were very close. They were in the Wyatts together. Everyone else, they've talked about how much Bray, not necessarily them, but just in general, they talked about how much Bray has meant to them. I think the performers, I think even Triple H and producers and everybody, I think they all have good intentions when it comes to this. Now, does it mean it's going to work? Not necessarily. I like that they addressed it. I thought that was a good call of kind of certainly an unexpected call. I did not think they were going to go that route with it. They did. I think that, I don't know if there's obviously going to be certain people online they've already made up their minds, right? This is literally every single topic that comes up in wrestling. They've made up their minds before, and it's not even specific to wrestling. They've made up their minds before they've even put the issue out there. Chris Rock has a joke about this, conservatives and liberals, of like, I'm going to vote for somebody that's made up their mind before the issue is talked about. That's how fans are of things. You've already made up your mind on this, not you specifically, but you've already made up your mind before you know how it's handled. You're like, nope, this is what they're doing. Or, yep, this is what they're doing. I'm going to give them some benefit of the doubt, which I realize might come back on me because, Wyatt Sobel's mentioned we had the same conversation after Eddie passed. And of course they did. Randy Orton was like, Eddie's watching from hell. That wasn't in good taste. It wasn't.
They did it more recently with Paige and Charlotte Flair. They did the whole thing with Reed. It was a year after his passing, and everyone was like, "You can't do that." But everyone covered it up because it was we were comfortable. It's what Reed would have wanted. There's always some sort of reasoning for this, and that's kind of part of the process of how this kind of stuff makes air. So I'll let you continue.
It happens all across the board. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to exploitation or honoring. Is Christian exploiting the deaths of fathers? Or is it like an honor of, oh, we're going to mention Buddy Wayne passing and taking in Nick. I'm your true father now. It happens all across the board when it comes to this. And I don't think it's specific to one company. And I don't think in some cases the company it's bad. And what I mean by bad is I don't think they mean it to be bad. I do think they are looking at it a way as an honoring and not trying to exploit something. Go ahead, Joel.
This is what's always funny to me is that everyone we talk about, what's the common denominator? Every deceased person was a wrestler, was a worker, was part of it. And so what is the automatic response is, oh, they would have wanted it this way because this is, like you said, it's honoring, or, you know, they'll get a kick out of it. Same thing happened with Percy Pringle when he died. They did the whole urn thing with The Undertaker and CM Punk, and then they inducted Percy into the Hall of Fame and so on and so forth. Why am I blanking on his? Paul Bear character name in WWE. Yeah, it was a similar situation where people are like, oh, it's kind of gross, but the sons of William Moody came out and we're just like, no, this is fine. Dad would have wanted this. He would have gotten a kick out of this. So we're doing it. We don't know. And the family is the closest ones to knowing. And maybe they get it right. Maybe they get it wrong. But the point is here, I think this, and I think it's also proven that they brought it up on camera in a vignette. I think that the idea of bringing up Bray's passing was part of the conversations that led to this faction even debuting. I'm sure that at one point Taylor Rotunda, Bo Dallas, turned to JoJo and said, "Is this okay? Like, is this cool? Like, can we do this?" And again, the conversations kind of go from there. And we're not backstage, and we're not in these people's homes or in their DMs or anything like that. But in my eyes, it's kind of we're paying respect to someone that we loved, and we're using their creativity to forward a character and to forward a story. You know, they would have wanted it this way. I get that. That's always that's a weird thing. And you know what? I'm dealing with that myself in my personal life with, again, I talked about losing my dad, and like, we're having similar conversations with, like, okay, let me make it pretty straightforward. In Jewish tradition, you go to synagogue for a full 11 months. Anyways, it's about a year for the mourning period. You're going for services, and you're saying what's called the Mourner's Kaddish. It's a prayer that you say for those who have died, who are close to you. For a parent, you say it for that full year. There's a whole string of things. Anyway, in my entire family, between the siblings, I'm the one who's been going the most, and my siblings are kind of dealing with the loss their own way. There's nothing wrong, and it's always, and to me, this is my way of paying tribute to my relationship with my dad, because my Jewish sense of self mostly came from him. And that's not to say that he didn't have that impact on my siblings, but they're just in a different place. So for me, that's important. So for these people, for the Taylors and the JoJos and anyone involved with this particular story, that's up to them to kind of work with and figure out what is respectable and what is respecting the legacy of the dead, and what is the line, what's too far. And everyone has a different line. That's the other thing. You have to reason with yourself and reason with the people around you who are impacted directly as to what is the best course of action.
And there's no straightforward grieving process either. I'm going to share what Jeff Jarrett said on his podcast. Everyone is rightfully praising the Jeff Jarrett video that came out, and then the uncut video. Jeff Jarrett said on his podcast, like, he hadn't fully reasoned with what happened with Owen. He said it himself. He basically pushed those feelings aside, buried those feelings aside. And he said that's the one thing that can still, like, make him tear up. And you saw it in the video. And if you listen to the podcast, he's like, we go to film this thing, and they only asked, like, what does this mean to you? And Jarrett just lost it. My wife watched that video and also watched Jarrett after the Raw after Owen had passed. And she's like, it's the same person. Like, it's the same. He still looks like he is still processing, dealing with the same feelings that he was one night after Owen passed. And Jarrett basically said that himself, of like, yeah, I never really processed all of that. And then he got to guess, on air, process that a little bit more. And it seemed like, everyone was very happy with that. He's obviously very honored, very thrilled to be in the Own Heart tournament. And, we'll see how just everything goes. But all of that just came out on air. And maybe Jeff needed that because he's worked very hard on himself. He got sober. He's made some changes to his life and everything. He's worked very hard on himself in that and kind of really turned things around, which is great. Maybe he needed it to come out like that because maybe it wasn't going to come out any other way. But we can't tell these people of like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Jeff should have been a conversation for therapy for Jeff, not coming out and to make him a sympathetic babyface. Taylor, that should have been a conversation for therapy, not to come out to advance a spooky storyline. Look, man, people deal with this stuff different ways. Again, the grieving process is not linear. The grieving process, I like what Henry says, there's no deadline for it. It could take 2 days. It could take 20 years. It may never happen. We don't know. It's all on the person who is actually dealing with the grieving. So I didn't mind that all of that came out. I'm not going to finger wag WWE of like, why are you doing this? This is not good. Like, you shouldn't be mentioning this kind of stuff. That's what the performers have decided to do. That is what not only the performers, the people closest to Bray have decided to do. So I'm going to, assuming they were not put in a box-like structure and told, hey, you need to do this. This is best for the story. I'm going to go with what they feel is best. As a fan watching, as a consumer of the product, I was definitely caught off guard, but I liked the direction that it is going in. I think it's very interesting because we all believe Bo is Uncle Howdy. So he's basically having a therapy session with himself with this. So it's it's an interesting direction. We were wondering how they were going to do the follow-up to everything. And they had a strong follow-up on what this group could be.
So I loved that it was presented as therapy. I love that it was presented in a way that the therapy was internal. It was obviously the idea of Bo talking to himself. We don't even know if he's still Bo Dallas or if he's going to be Taylor Rotunda. We don't know yet. They haven't outwardly said it. I know some people have tweeted out Bo Dallas. I think Bailey retweeted it and said Bo Dallas with a heart, but like, we don't know internally what they're going to refer to them as people. For all we know, he's just going to be Howdy, but we don't know. The point is, in this video that they're showing on Raw, he's doing this as both Howdy and as both the alter egos are meeting and the alter egos are clashing and talking about their feelings in a certain way. And then at the end, you see that they are together. It's not like a weird Spider-Man movie-esque thing where you're in a clash of conscience within yourself. No, it's presented in front of you, which I like. It's well shot, well presented, well executed. And then even further is, did you see where this was being shot?
Yeah, the Funhouse.
They're doing it in the Funhouse and the doors in the background. And I really like that they're bringing stuff like that around and they're making it important because the Funhouse was Bray's mind. It was effectively his brain, and now they are getting you inside. And this maybe is just me kind of looking into things a little too much, but the idea here is that they're unlocking what's in Bray's head creatively, and they're trying to bring that out. These characters are that. Other people have said it, and I'm going to repeat it. I really hope that other characters involved with this storyline who are wearing those masks do similar vignettes, because the idea is therapy and working through your grief, and it could be the steps of grief. That's the story that they're telling. And if it is, there are ways to make this really cool and really interesting. But there's enough. Yeah, they said Bo Dallas apparently in the YouTube video, but they could also rename him. So regardless, I thought there was a lot of really excellent storytelling that happened on Monday night with this video. Again, going to the start of it, I was a little like, I don't know, because they got a little like, if the spookiest thing they do, and I said this, I did Beyond the Bell with Andrew Zarian yesterday, by the way. Shout out to Andrew. I had a great time on that show. I said if the spookiest thing, quote unquote, that they do is put fog in the ring, then that's great. That's what I love hearing, because I want them to take away all doubt from people who are saying, oh, it's just another spooky storyline. I want this to work, and I think it has the opportunity to work if the presentation steers to the way that it did on Monday. Oh, by the way, I've been awful at this. I'm a host, and it's been 50 minutes of me not telling you to leave a thumbs up on the video or to subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked. We opened with big breaking news: TNA signing the tag team of Sinner and Saint. And we did the interview with them about their signing, so there's that. And of course, Gisele Shaw, we're going to air that interview in a little bit. But of course, if you want to donate to Super Chat, any amount, get your question or statement read on the air, and we appreciate you guys and gals and friends beyond the binary being in the chat, because this is a fun show to do. Jeremy, continue.
I hope they do more spookier stuff than just the fog machine. You know me. I want them shooting lightning, setting people on fire. Need all of that. All of that.
Gable already had his peanut butter and jelly incident. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. I cannot die. He just make a video out of it. Chad Gable cannot die.
I like the idea of everyone kind of getting their own individual therapy session. Not only for the Bray aspect of it, but just, and I think that they would touch on this, is the aspect of the performers. Dexter Lumis got married to Indy Hartwell, was kind of a big deal, at least in a storyline fashion on NXT, got to the main roster, did absolutely nothing. Got released. He was part of the releases, wasn't he? Pretty sure it was.
I think so. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, the COVID releases.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, he came back with Triple H. So yeah, like, but even coming back with Triple H, he did like the one little thing with Gargano and Lumis or Miz, and he hadn't been on television, I feel like, for a year. Joe Gacy had a good spot in NXT before earlier this year, and then transitioning into this. Nikki Cross, there's plenty to unpack with her, from being part of Sanity, from being superhero Nikki, the stuff with Alexa get brought up, and then just being off television again for basically almost a year now. And then Rowan, they could do a lot with Rowan,
which is like amazing and heartbreaking simultaneously. It's that's a big undertaking with him.
Yeah. So I like the idea of potentially individual therapy sessions, talking with who they are as their funhouse puppets, and going forward with that, and how you can connect all of that. Because I do think there needs to be, like, we kind of know who they are. They've at least posted on social media with who they are. Yeah, Rowan spoke a lot during like the Bryan feud and everything.
Someone had to unmask that fake Rowan.
Yeah.
That was the best face-to-face ever.
Would they, like, who we know who they are? Again, they've kind of tweeted, like Nikki tweeted, "We're here." Rowan's tweeted stuff. Joe Gacy tweeting stuff. But like, why are they these characters now? You know, like, why is Rowan Rambling Rabbit? Why is Joe Gacy Huskus the Pig? Why is Nikki Cross Sister Abigail? Why is Dexter Lumis Mercy the Buzzard? Like, what makes them that character? So I would like to see something like that to explain that, why they are now these real life versions of the Funhouse characters. And it doesn't have to be a therapy session quite like what we got with Bo, but I think something similar would go a long way in this.
Yeah, if you just do the hand off a tape every week, that's going to get really old really quickly. But if you find a way to tell the stories through other means that still do something,
QR codes.
Yeah, sure. QR codes. I don't give a damn. Yeah, Pat McAfee. They break into the studio and they start airing everything on ESPN. They'll love that. To the Lord. I'm looking at WrestleTix. and their heat wave numbers are pretty good, actually. Just off topic, they've distributed 8,100 tickets for that show. It's pretty good. Do you think, because heat wave's in Toronto, so going to Money in the Bank, and Chad Gable qualified for Money in the Bank, Chad Gable is still being affected by what happened to him during the first appearance of the White Six. Do they get involved in Money in the Bank, or do they just leave it alone and not have them get all weird during the men's match?
Well, that's the other curious thing about this is, of course, everyone's like, "Oh, what happens when the bell rings?" And I just advocate, don't ring the bell. Like,
More
I think
murders.
it's dumb. Yeah, just more murders. But that is a curious part of this. Is Chad Gable is in Money in the Bank. He has been kind of the thread as far as like the wrestler thread. He was the guy visually attacked the first week, and then he was the guy who was scared, and then who Nikki kind of confronted this past week. So he's been sort of the wrestler thread with all of this. So yeah, do they get involved at Money in the Bank? Do they cost Gable? Do we get Gable and Alpha Academy against? Is we saw Alpha Academy, or we saw Gable talking with the Creeds again, and so do we get Gable and Alpha Academy as like the last remnants of Alpha Academy against the Wyatts at SummerSlam? Is that where they go?
Feels to me like you'll sooner see a mixed 6-man tag or 6-person tag with the Creeds and Ivy Nile versus Otis, Tozawa, and Maxine. The problem with that is where's Chad? Is Chad on a pole? Is Chad, like, what are we doing with Chad Gable at that point?
I think you can do the Wyatts against Alpha Academy. That's when they do the actual big turn on Alpha Academy. Or on Gable, the big Alpha Academy like turn. That's when they do it. Is, Chad Gable maybe has to, kind of what you said last week, the Stockholm syndrome. Gable being like, guys, I was attacked, and look, I still showed up the following week, still won my Money in the Bank qualifier. I would have won Money in the Bank if it wasn't for the lights flickering or fog machines or whatever. It's like, guys, I'm sorry. Like, he apologized. It's a fake apology, but he does the like, I'm sorry. Like, we can do this. Let's. I need my family. I need my family against the Wyatt crew here, and that's how you do the SummerSlam match. Of course, they lose, and then Otis and Tozawa and Maxine do the big turn on Gable. Then he unites with the Creeds the following night, or I guess 2 nights later on Raw. I think there's a way to do that. That stretches the Alpha Academy stuff until early August. So it's already gone on a little while, but you got some story beats there if it is Gable basically trying to get them back by using sympathy.
Yeah, after what they did on Monday, where Gable goes and says, "Hey, take me back. I'm so sorry." And Otis is like, "No." The one thing that kind of opened things up was Maxine being like, "Let me talk to him. You really hurt him. Maybe I can convince him," because Maxine was the damsel in distress throughout this whole teasing of a breakup and everything. But then you have the Creeds and Ivy Nile pop up from behind and be like, "Hey, you okay?" And at that point, I don't know if this was Gable kind of breaking down and saying, "No, I'm not okay. I need help," or if that was him being angry and being that dickhead that he had been before the Wyatts showed up, where he's like just bossing people around. Was he trying to say, "I need help, oh my God," or was he trying to say, "I need help, you idiots, help me out"? What was that supposed to be? And I'm hoping that they clean that up on next Monday, because it's there, but something was just missing in intonation, because people have said both sides of this, myself included. Like, was this supposed to be we feel bad for him, or he's just repeating his current state?
They do have to kind of make this a big deal, a big story, because I don't fully love that Chad Gable looked like he was left for dead a week ago, and then he just has a Band-Aid and is like, I can wrestle. I was cleared. I think they almost went too far in the look of Gable the first week. Like they probably could have done without the blood on that. Like if you just laid out and you know it's Gable, okay, that's one thing. I think the blood is when then people got in their heads of like, oh, he's murdered, he got shot, he's dead. And yeah, we were all kind of having fun with that. But
Yeah,
they
the
also did
problem
that.
is some people don't understand fun and sarcasm.
Yeah. Yeah, Adam Pearce has to literally come out and be like, you dopes, he's not dead. Triple H has to literally come out and say, he's not dead. Don't know where that started. Like, well, you kind of did too good of a job laying him out there. Like they have regrets of like, we should have pulled back on that. And that way, Gable, he was just kind of hurt, laid out, attacked, but not looking like a crime victim here.
Gable, I swear to God, Gable should just come out and be like, I'm okay. I was just bludgeoned, brother. And then that's it. That's how the story continues.
That's basically what he said. He's just like, I'm fine. I'm good.
And like he did the mark on his head and the bandage. And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I can't be killed. I like that they at least made reference to it. Be like, you can't kill me. There was just some funniness to that. But he's very intertwined with the Wyatt Six, but they're also doing this story with the leftovers of Alpha Academy and the Creeds and Ivy Nile. And I like that. Again, I like when stories kind of thread together. And this is, you mentioned the stuff with Jeff Jarrett and mourning and loss and things like that. It's hard not to almost cheer for the possibility of Jeff Jarrett going further in the Owen. But meanwhile, talking about the Owen, the Hangman Page wild card conversation comes back around, and you're like, the Hangman Page story intersects with so many current storylines, whereas the Jeff Jarrett storyline is just that one thing, but you're so sympathetic to it. I do like that there's at least that interplay going on with the Owen, but other than that, it's tough. It's tough to tell those stories on that level. And I feel like the Wyatts and the Gable stuff, they're going to start piecing. Well, it's been pieced together, but they're going to slowly unravel how that does piece together. I just hope it's not, the Wyatts cost Gable at every turn. They should make him feel like he needs to look over his shoulder, which he is now. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe the Creeds get involved with this somehow in terms of he gets paranoid with them too, and he's left on his own, and the Wyatts deal with them and save the Creeds. I don't know because we don't know what the presentation of the Wyatts is supposed to be. Are they heels? Are they baby faces? Are they chaos demons? What are they? And that's fine. I'm okay with them not clearly defining them just yet.
We do need an explanation. It could just be as simple as we didn't like the way he treated his family. And I think that is kind of the explanation without fully telling you the explanation. But we do need a little bit of an explanation of why Gable specifically is being targeted. We do need that.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see where it runs, but it's now we're no selling death.
We've been no selling death in this industry for a long time. Are you kidding me? The biggest example is Triple H when he got dropped off of the forklift in the car and he got smashed over and he comes out just a bandit. He got beat up worse than, and we saw what happened to Triple H. We didn't even see what happened to Gable. Yeah, but we saw what happened to Triple H, and he just came out like it was nothing the following night. He just had the same bandage Chad Gable had on his head. It was fine.
Limos have exploded as well, and those people came back the next week. Circumstances were weird, but anyway, okay, hold on, Ryan. We're gonna talk about this for a real second. He says TNA killed like 70 people. Now, somewhat factual. TNA has alluded to those people being, offed, but they also have left enough curiosity that they can come back. The first person that they really screwed this up with was Eric Young, and that's recent. They've never fully offed somebody like they seem to have done with Eric Young. And then when Eric Young left WWE to come back to TNA, it was like, oh shit, we got to bring him back to life somehow. Everyone else has just been sent off to the Unknown Realm, or they've been, carted off to prison. There have been other ways to take care of them, but TNA does a pretty good job of leaving the door open, but also long-term getting rid of them. Poor Eric Young. He didn't deserve to die.
Yeah, Corey's just like wrestler since 2000, but like RIP, but I'm built different. It's one of my favorite tweets of it's like somebody's grandma, RIP to the grandma, was like, oh, she died in like Chernobyl. It's like she went through all of this. And then the comment after that was like, RIP to your grandma, but I'm built different. I would have just survived Chernobyl.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah, Hogan fell off of the Giant fell off the side of a building. He wasn't even wet. And he came back that same night, won the world title, kind of, sort of. It was already dry. Not only did he have magical healing powers, he doesn't even get wet. My God.
Aleister Black was thrown off of Titan Towers. Same thing. Was it Aleister or was it Rey Mysterio? Whatever. People were.
Ray.
Was it Ray? By Aleister? Maybe that's what it was. Regardless, people were thrown off the sides of Titan Towers. They came back the next week.
Yeah, like wrestlers just, they know sell all this stuff.
That's right. That's my character doesn't agree with that, brother. Anyway, speaking of characters, Drew McIntyre opens up the show. No suspension. He was like, I quit giving a shit about CM Punk chants. Okay, sure. And then eventually throughout everything, we'll pick it out, but he finds himself in a Money in the Bank qualifier 3-way next week. First of all, poor Ilya Dragunov gets put into one as a replacement, gets taken out, and now he's put into another one, and unfortunately it's a 3-way with Drew and Sheamus. The man's gonna get bludgeoned, brother.
Dude, I think Ilya's gonna do some bludgeoning as well. That dude
he can hold
he ain't backing down from those two.
Could you imagine though? It's just 15 minutes of Drew and Sheamus beating down Ilya Dragunov.
I'm sure we'll get that spot, but Ilya's gonna fire back and be like, all right, you big bitches, I'm gonna hit you just as hard.
So the story here is, does Drew qualify for Money in the Bank, or does CM Punk cost him, or does Drew maybe go all the way and win Money in the Bank out of this?
I said that Drew winning Money in the Bank makes kind of the most sense. I thought he should do the Brock spot. Just as Jey Uso's trying to grab the Yeet case, he just goes out there. But I think that makes the most sense for the story. Now, Drew came in and he's like, I'm going to win that briefcase. I'm going to cash in the same night, which, very possible that he could do something like that to win the title. Gunther showed up during the Seth Rollins Damian Priest stare down and reminded them, hey, I'm kind of next here. So that's why Drew winning and then cashing in that same night doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because I don't think Drew's facing Gunther at SummerSlam. It seems kind of clear Drew's facing Punk, assuming Punk is cleared by that point. So I don't think Drew is going to win Money in the Bank. I'm not even sure he's going to qualify for Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it could be more Sheamus or Ilya. Like, I wouldn't fully rule out Ilya at least qualifying, but I definitely don't think that Drew is going to win. I don't know if Punk screws him, because I don't think Punk's showing up on Monday, but maybe he is. Maybe it's a musical screw job of, type of thing. I like the Drew promo and opening the show and, giving the explanations of like, I quit because I had to fool this idiot into thinking I was gone and thinking he got me. And then I showed up and beat the shit out of him in Chicago.
They're going to be in Boston on Monday.
He might show up.
He might show up. It is a major market after all.
Yeah, he might show up in Boston.
That's the only thing that I could see happening, because they're in New York on Friday for SmackDown at MSG. Neither man are part of that, but if you go to a place like Boston, I think he would show up. He would wear a Bulls jersey just to get the heat, though. He would. Let's face it. But Boston fans don't even care right now. Like, their team won the NBA championship. They're just, yeah, whatever. Go ahead. You wear what you want.
There is no spot for Punk to qualify in Money in the Bank unless he just comes in there. By the way, Joel
beats up Ilya Dragunov and qualifies for Money in the Bank. Yes, I was wrong. They're not doing the last chance qualifier. I will eat that. That's fine.
Thank God.
I'm sure Shawn Michaels will do it in NXT sometime instead, when they're trying to figure out who the next challenger for the NXT North American Championship is.
Thank God that they're not doing this last chance nonsense that
Well,
Joel
because
was advocating for.
they got rid of Trevor Lee, and at that point, it just didn't matter to do the last chance stuff anymore. Like, he was the king of the last chances, was Trevor Lee.
No, I like the Drew promo on Monday, and just in general, I like this storyline. Hopefully, Punk is healthy enough for SummerSlam so we can get a payoff to all of this. But him taking the bracelet and explaining what the bracelet meant, and that needles at Punk. Now we're gonna get Larry against Drew McIntyre.
No.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah, we're doing the tag team match. It's
Yeah.
Drew and The Rock. They're going to face off against Larry and Pharaoh. I mean, shithead. Let that be the SummerSlam main event. Punk and Cody can be just sitting at ringside, sharing notes about their dogs, training regimens. Let them be on commentary. Let the boys handle the dogs.
Poor Drew. He's got to take the loss on that one.
Who gets the pin? Is it Larry for comedic effect, being the smaller dog?
Yeah, Larry. Pharaoh takes him out. Pharaoh's a big good boy.
Yeah, he hits the crossroads.
Yeah.
You
just one though.
Just one. You ever see a dog hit a crossroads?
He hits just one, and then Larry pins him.
Yeah, the dogs have to win. You can't not have the dogs win this one.
Yeah, Rock ain't taking that loss either. Like, absolutely not. Rock's like, yeah, he ain't losing to humans, much less dogs.
They'll do a whole thing. Maybe one of the dogs get taken out during the intro, and all of a sudden the big dog comes back, Roman Reigns.
Oh,
yeah, it's Roman Reigns and Pharaoh versus.
Remember that giant CGI dog that they had
Those were
for Roman?
It was that in the Roman where the big AI or CGI Roman were like, it'd be standing, and then they were bronze, and they would just do that thing was.
Yeah, that ruled though.
They were all so bad.
Nah, that ruled.
There were very few that I actually liked. I remember when they started making it a thing. I think it was Rumble 2019, and I was at that Rumble in Phoenix, and everyone was like, "These AI things." I'm like, "Why can't I see them?" And I was like, "All right, I'm in the building." I had a moment, Jeremy. I was a little inebriated. I had gone to an all-you-can-drink mimosa wrestling show earlier that morning.
Wow.
The tree one was special. Elliot in the chat mentioning that. You remember the bloodline tree?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was scary. That was nightmare fuel.
That thing. Yeah, they did have a lot of ones that didn't really work out. But
man. There were some very special ones.
Anyway. The Roman one ruled, all of them, every single one of them.
Except the tree one. There was some pretty...
I don't associate that one with Roman. That wasn't Roman's fault.
That's fair. All right. Is there anything else you want to add to this, or should we move on? We maybe do the Gisele Shaw interview?
For Raw, we had a super chat that's Raw related.
Oh, we do. So. Okay. I want to maybe come back to this because there's more to that conversation that's been going around, and I think maybe it's better served after we air this interview.
Okay, we're probably going long today, folks.
Wait for it. I didn't expect you to say it, so
I see dead people.
I could just run it as a visual overlay without the thing, but you got to do it with the thing. Yeah, it's fine. All right, our interview with Gisele Shaw. Very, very excited to air this one. We had a great chat with her a couple days ago. The notes are already out on Fightful Select, but we like you, so we're going to show it to you. How about that? You ready for this? Let's go. Hello, friends. We're back again. Joel Pearl, Jeremy Lambert here. It's in the weeds. We got an interview, so we got to cue it up just properly and just right. Ahead of TNA Impact at Philadelphia's 2300 Arena on June 28th and 29th. Gisele Shaw's with us, the former quintessential diva, now the quintessential knockout. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
Great. It's good to see you again. You and I had a chance. We had a chance to chat at a show in Toronto about almost 2 years ago. And I actually want to get this right out of the way. We talked about the diva moniker. And now you've made a bit of a transition to calling yourself the quintessential knockout. What happened? What brought about that change?
Who better to transition than the queen of transitions, right?
Fair.
No, you know what? I feel like like I've been the quintessential diva because, I really wanted to change the narrative on, the bad connotation around the word diva, because it's so like, like diva, like it's probably can't wrestle this, it's all just the looks, whatever. And so I was like, you know what? I want to be the one to change the narrative on it, and um and show a different side of being a diva, that you can do it all. You're not just a pretty face. You're not just like you're TNA, no pun intended. So but like right now, I feel like we've headed to a different direction. Being a quintessential knockouts, TNA, you got the knockouts division. So I can't wait to show everyone that side of Gisele Shaw, because I feel like the TNA faithfuls haven't really seen like the full Gisele Shaw that I have provided in the independent scene.
You went away for a couple of months in February, returning with Gail Kim. Gail Kim was your mentor. You went on the wellness retreats. I want to know what those kind of months off were like, and then the decision to bring you back in that way with Gail Kim and doing those vignettes with her.
So, well, during the time off, I think you just kind of have to, I think it's just like a self-reflection. I think it was a great time, for me, to just kind of like step back and go, okay, like, let's just like relax, refocus. And I coming in with Gail Kim, like she's a freaking legend. She is Gail effing Kim. And I always tell her that, the greatest knockouts of all time. So I feel like having or being mentored by somebody like that, it's just like, man, I watched you growing up, and now you're mentoring me, and you're, doing the storyline with me. Like it's a dream come true. And I don't, it's like, I'm looking forward to where this storyline goes.
Now, with those changes also came a new billing. You're now billed from Yellowknife.
Yeah.
In the Northwest Territories. I heard that because we
Yeah.
got TNA Impact on Fightful.com, and I saw, and I was like, wait, what? What happened there? How did you move to that?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories.
Really?
Yeah, so little fun fact right there. And like I feel like the storyline that we're doing is it's like I'm finding myself, and then it's like going back to the basics. You know what I mean? Like why I really love wrestling and staying true to yourself. And so it's like, okay, like, you know what? Let's do like where you come from. Like I come from a small town, and now it's like, if you like with humility and respect and all this stuff, it's like climbing to the top of the ladder again, doing it the proper way, no shortcuts, no nothing. And I think that was kind of like important to have, that it's like you're just a small town girl, and like trying to make it big in the big city.
When it comes to Gail Kim, everyone always seems to ask, when's she coming back? Is she going to do another match? Have you talked about teaming with her? Not another match against her, but maybe you can get her for another tag team, you and Gail Kim.
I feel like the sky is the limit, and I think that really depends on her, on her body, on her like just I don't want to say emotional state, or if she's even like still like itching to get back in the ring. Like she does say that she is, she's got the itch to get back in the ring, but that's up to her. One of my dreams is to partner up with Gail, be in a tag team, or even just have a singles match with her. So I'm gonna put that out there in the universe, and just let's see what happens. In wrestling, you never say never. So we'll see.
Listen, Slammiversary is coming to Montreal in July, and we got two Canadians working together right now. What do you think of the opportunity for you two to mix it up, either opposite the ring or maybe even sharing the ring? Gail Kim.
I mean, I think it would just be the coolest thing ever, and I don't even think like my like the little child inside me would just be like freaking out so much. But it's like I got to be professional and just be like, okay, like center yourself, do the job, But I think it would just be a dream come true. But even like right now, right? Like I think I have to be grateful for her working with me and mentoring me on screen. and I think it's just incredible. And like I said, I don't know where the story is gonna end up, but I hope that everyone's gonna tune in and see where it goes. And I'm just as excited as
I got to follow up with this. You mentioned that she's mentoring you on screen. What about off screen? How much are you two interacting or working with each other?
Yeah, I mean, she's producing matches and stuff, and like she always wants the best for everyone. So when she's watching matches and stuff, she's always like, okay, you know what, like we could do this or something and like make that better, or I think you need to do, you know what I mean? She's always guiding you no matter what, guided me. So I'm very fortunate about that, and I just really want to learn from one of the best, if not the best knockout ever.
I want to ask about competing in Knockouts Ultimate X, because I know it was a staple for the men. The women got it. The women pushed for it. The Knockouts pushed for it, got it. And I just want to know your thoughts on competing in a match like that and winning the match as well.
Yeah, it was really scary. The structure itself, is like you think about it and you're like, yeah, like I really want to be in a match like that because I think it's so cool, and it is super cool. But when that structure is set up, like it's so humbling because it's hella tall. And I mean, thank goodness that I don't really have like a fear for heights anymore. But yeah, I can't say for some of the other knockouts, and you just have to be like, okay, like let's just go out there and kill it, and hopefully like you don't fall and like hurt yourself. But yeah, it is. We had tons and tons of fun in that match, and the first knockouts Ultimate X match was so incredible that we're just thinking, okay, like how do we outdo that? And having a locker room full of women that would kind of have the exact same mentality of just like, you know what, like let's outdo the first one, and let's make moments and memories, and it just makes it super successful. And I mean, on top of that, I won the Ultimate X match. So yeah, I think that was a great opportunity. It's something that I wasn't really expecting, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and now I can put that in my little belt under my resume.
Piggybacking off of all that Ultimate X match was so cool because it was 3 knockouts that were coming in from the Impact Wrestling side of things, and then 3 knockouts that had recently been signed full-time to TNA Wrestling. First of all, how did you guys kind of put that together, knowing that it was 6 very different women? And my follow-up to that is, what's that locker room like now? How is that camaraderie now that you've all been working together for about 6 months as a Knockouts unit?
So it's really bizarre because, like they came in and then and worked. I mean, like I've worked with them in the independent scene, so it's like it's not the first time I've actually had an encounter with them. So it's like I know like what they're capable of. I know what they want to do. So I think everybody just want to have like a banging match, and I feel like we really delivered that. The most interesting part is that because I have been off screen and off TV, I've never really had a chance to work with them again. So I'm really looking forward to what we can do in the ring. I just I want great matches, and they want great matches too. And I think that if you are on the same page, like you're just going to create magic.
I have to ask, your gear, I believe it was Rebellion, Taylor Swift inspired. Big Swiftie.
Yeah.
Myself here. I have a shirt right over here. In fact, you know what? I know you're a 1989 girl. 1989 tour shirt.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
here.
that is amazing.
So let's talk some Taylor Swift here.
Yes. No, I really love that. So I think right now, like I'm doing the Eras tour. I think like people are catching, because like at first I was kind of like, you know what, like I don't want it to be like too obvious, because obviously we love an Easter egg. So and so does she. So I think that's like a really great formula to have, like little snippets like here and there. And I want to do like, the Reputation I thought was like the best gear that I was like, oh my God, like this is so cool, because I never thought that I could do like the newspaper, a gear that she did for Reputation. So I really just loved it, enjoyed it. And now that people are catching on, and I'm in my 1989 era, you just never know, when we move on, because to a different era, because there's so many of them.
Well,
But
the folklore Evermore era, I don't know what you're gonna quite do. You're gonna have like a long kind of, I guess, a witch skirt almost. I don't know what you would call it.
I mean, I think that the fun part about that is that because there's so many eras, like there's so many things that you can do. But like the unfortunate thing about it, I think, is that because I'm constantly changing my gear, it's almost like I'm constantly just like changing. Like there's really no time to just marinate in one era. You know what I mean? But I think that's also like the fun part of it. It's just the creative side of what's the next year going to look like, or what era is she going to go into. So yeah, I think that's the fun part for me.
So is your favorite era 1989?
Yeah, I'm a 1989 girl. I really love that. I think it's just I think like Blank Space and Style, like those are my favorite songs. And but it's like I just love Taylor Swift, and I just love that, like to be able to apply that like in wrestling. Like it's just it's really cool, and I'm just fortunate that she has a slap on like a cease and desist on me. So,
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. That'd be big
I know.
headline news if
no,
it
I
did.
know. I mean, like if she does, like I just want to be best friends with her. So like, I'm putting it out there. Like not the injunction part, but we could be best friends.
I have to ask for your review of the new album then.
I love it. I really do. I think it's so cool that every album that she does, like she takes you through like a journey, and I feel like that's why it's so cool. Like this is like one thing that I love about her, because in wrestling, like we take you through this different emotions, like a little roller coaster, and it's like one thing you hate, or one like one day you hate me, one day you love me, and it's just like you just never know what you're gonna get. And yeah, and it's such a journey, and I feel like that's why people really love her so much, because it's like it's a journey with her, and she takes you and like lets you in through personal experiences of whatever she's going on. And I feel like with wrestling, like that's what we do too. So they go hand in hand together.
Yeah, it's all storytelling, and then her
Yes.
concerts, it's all big theatrics and everything, just like
Mhm.
professional wrestling. So
And guess who's going to the Eras tour?
oh, where at? Which one?
I'm going to Toronto, so I'm really excited for that. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very
so
nice.
expect a lot of, and maybe I'll wear like an outfit that she wore on tour. So
There you
we'll
go. Oh, have fun. Have fun. I'm
Thank
incredibly
you.
jealous.
It's a stone's throw away, Jeremy. You can come and sleep on the couch here.
I know. I might have to. I'm already coming up there, so I might have to come up there for that.
As we start to wind down, you were kind of mentioning journeys and Taylor Swift, and you were at the end of a couple of Knockouts journeys in their final matches, including Trinity and Deonna Purrazzo. Talk to me about having that opportunity to work with those women on their way to other companies and leaving TNA and leaving Impact Wrestling.
I think it's so incredible that I was put in a position where, I get to learn from those amazing women. I think that they offer so much. So, like all I'm doing is just like having fun, and obviously like taking everything in as well, and living in the moment. Because, like I feel like if like every match that I'm on, or you should be on, it's like you're always constantly learning, right? And always like taking away something from that match. And yeah, like it just like that, I feel like that's how you get better, is that you learn from like people that are better than you, and you're constantly learning. So yeah, it was a great opportunity. And it's like maybe that's why I get the nickname of the Black Widow, because when you work with me, you're either gonna leave the company or whatever.
We're gonna start taking stock and taking note.
So jokes. No, I'm just kidding. But that was the thing for a bit, with the tag team. The tag teams that I was working with, like it was just so unfortunate that every single person that I was working with, they had other opportunities and they would leave TNA. But it's all fun, and it's jokes. It's jokes. Yeah,
Well,
I'm not really a Black Widow guy.
We'll see about that. Let's do this. This is our last question. This is a fun game that we like to play. Speaking of fun and games, it's called Partner, Promo, or Punch in the Face. I give you 3 names that you're very well accustomed to and associated with, and you're going to pick which one you want to partner with in a tag team match, which one you want to have a promo off with in the ring on the microphone, and which one you want to punch in the face, one-on-one singles match.
I hope I don't get canceled for this.
Highly doubt it. Let's find out.
Okay.
Jordan Grace, Masha Slamovich, Gail Kim, partner, promo, punch in the face.
Oh gosh. I mean, clearly not promo for Masha because we haven't we haven't seen her like speak English on TV, and I can't really have a promo off with her. So I would have to say, I would say Gail promo, because I feel like that's something that we're doing right now, and I feel like that's something that we're working on. I would say wait. Oh no. Oh, I feel really bad.
That's the best part.
Yeah. Oh no. I think that it would be nice to partner with Jordan Grace, only because I've never really been able to partner with her. It's always just been, opposing sides, right? So I think that it's a different dynamic to see, and especially that, because I'm a good guy now. I'd like partner off with a good guy. And Masha, I would definitely punch in the face because I think that we've only scratched the surface, or we haven't even scratched the surface, let's say, it's always just been great working with her. And I think like it's such a cool dynamic. And now that like I offer something different with this new character, I think that it's just going to be incredible.
We want to thank you, Gisele, for joining us. You can catch all the stars of TNA Friday and Saturday, June 28th, 29th at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia for TNA Impact, and then TNA Slammiversary in Montreal, July 20th at the Verdun Auditorium, easy for me to say. And of course, all the content, all the action available on TNA Plus. Gisele, is there anything else you want to plug before we let you get out of here?
Yes. Please come to this weekend in Philadelphia if you can. It's going to be so amazing. Jack Hardy and Matt Hardy are going to be in action, and you definitely don't want to miss that. Plus any other, your favorite knockouts, including myself, and TNA superstars will be there. So I hope that you can join us. And if you can't, then watch us every Thursdays on Access TV or on Fight Network in Canada. And we also have the YouTube Insider. And we have the TNA Plus app as well. So you can see us everywhere. And the Zone Wrestling too. I keep forgetting about that.
It's everywhere.
So many ways to watch.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No more excuses. Go and watch.
No more excuses. Watch us.
There you go. You heard it from the quintessential knockout herself, Gisele Shaw. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Gisele.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
You too. Take care. That was Gisele Shaw. TNA Knockout. Good stuff. I feel like the rest of our day is just kind of shot. Do we have another interview we need to run?
I mean, we can run a previous recorded interview if you would like.
All right, let's go. No, I'm just
let's pull up. Where's Cole at? I assume he's just going to come on the show and torture me today. So,
not today. Not today.
We sure.
We've been in contact, and I said not today. So
you told him.
I told him today. I told him today that we would not do today because we were already running 2 interviews, and I don't like to super pack our shows with interviews. By the way, Wednesday we're gonna have 2 interviews.
Today's Wednesday. Next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday as well.
Who's on the show next Wednesday?
I sent you the list of people, and things got moved around. That's fair. You don't pay attention to me. Some people got moved around. There's gonna be a few people from IWS joining us next week. That's International Wrestling Syndicate out of Montreal. They have their big Scarred for Life show coming up, and of course they're gonna be having matches against GCW. And a lot of the IWS talent are going to be at the GCW Toronto show. So whenever they come around and it's a big PLE weekend, we want to promote not only their biggest show of the year, Scarred for Life, but also the GCW stuff happening around Money in the Bank weekend. So we'll have some friends joining us. I got some fun names coming to chat with us next week from IWS. How about that?
Okay. I actually knew about these interviews. I was just, giving you a hard time.
But that's par for the course.
And where is Louis for the table countdown?
Yeah, where is
And,
Louis?
It's NBA draft day. I assume he's studying up on all these prospects.
One has to assume. That's right.
Yeah.
Let's hit the super chat from John and have a full-on conversation. Dom is acting innocent to the public and different in private. His reposting of Liv online was mentioned. Why didn't he block her phone number? I can't wait until it's revealed they've been together all along. So, Dom, Liv, Finn, the Judgment Day big head, got new tag team champions. You got a women's champion who's Judgment Day kind of adjacent. You have a
I mean, she helped him win the tag titles. It feels like, you know.
Are you sure it wasn't Carmella?
Might have been Carmella.
May have been Carmella.
Major Blood, you're gonna be in Toronto. I'm gonna be in Toronto with old Joel Pearl. So come hang out. We're gonna go to New Ho King and get the fried rice with the dip sauce.
And we're gonna go with our pal Adrian Hernandez.
Yeah, I saw Adrian. I was so excited when I saw Adrian was coming.
So stoked, very excited.
Yeah.
We'll get some media pals together. We'll take a photo at New Ho King. Let people rampant speculation about wrestling media and who they ride with.
That's actually a great photo op. We're all at New Ho King, just eating fried rice and whatever else they have there. I love Chinese food.
I hate
it so much.
I hate that Drake took that place because I used to love New Ho King. I sent you the photo. That photo was 2013, I think. It was just a bill from New Ho King. But my buddy and I, oh man, we used to go all the time. Shout out New Ho King before Drake ruined it. We're gonna take it back. We'll
take it back next weekend.
That's right. Our media pal. We got to tell the media that we're gonna be there.
We'll send out the alert for the New Ho King meetup.
That's the meetup I want. Listen, we'll do money in the drink. That's fine. But like the New Ho King meetup, that's the one.
When are you gonna do this? Friday for like lunch? Because they're not doing like a junket thing.
Yeah, we got to figure that out because there was also community events that I'm trying to sort out whether or not we will be there. And then Friday night there's GCW, so we got to sort out our schedules.
Yeah, Friday night there's also SmackDown, but
well, kind of. we might not be at SmackDown.
I just figured that. I don't know what we're doing, but
probably GCW.
We're gonna go to New Ho King with all the media pals. I'm too white to know what set tripping means, Cam.
That's fair. I don't know either, but I love that you call it out. At least be honest. Okay, let's hit the super chat. So
I don't know what it means.
So Dirty Dom, you think he's with Liv? There was some very polarizing opinions about how this Liv Morgan chapter played out on Monday Night Raw. For those who maybe didn't watch or weren't aware, there were some racy messages of some sort alluded to that Liv sent to Dominic. At one point, Dominic shows the phone to the Judgment Day, and you've got Carlito doing the whole "that's cool," a little comedic effect. And on top of that, Liv supposedly sent a full tray of chicken nuggets for Dom, a PS5 for the boys, and all this stuff, showering them with gifts. The optics came into conversation, and I think a lot of people have been rightfully criticizing pieces of this story and the way that it played out this week. You want to kind of dig into that, and of course, we'll get into the actual story itself and where it might be going.
Yeah, well, I give them the benefit of the doubt with the Bray story because the people involved in the Bray story, were relatives of Bray, and I assume they had good say in what is presented on television. This, they get a little less benefit of the doubt from. Now, do I think it is a television story that they are just trying to tell on TV and it's not some super deep meaning like a lot of people want to go? In some regards, yes. Liv is the one who is masterminding all of this. Liv is the one who is, again, she's sending the gifts. She's helping Judgment Day. She's trying to woo Dom to make Rhea jealous or try to take over Judgment Day. So people are, for those that don't know, sorry, I feel like I'm dancing around. People are tying this with the Janelle Grant lawsuit and the things that have been put out in that lawsuit. And specifically when it came to this past Monday, showing pictures to coworkers, that seemed unnecessary. Didn't feel like we needed that part of the story. The other parts of this story, I think that I give them a little less benefit of the doubt. I also think that it's just a television story and some stuff is not as tied as people would like to believe. Are the optics good? No. Not with all of this going on. It's not great optics. So I do think you have to be a little bit more, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. You have to be a little bit more on the ball in what you're putting out there. So I do think there is that. Again, the showing the photos, unnecessary. Don't even open yourself up for that conversation. It didn't really play into too much either. Like the sending gifts is one thing, because that played into the rest. Like, oh, she's trying to win the other members of Judgment Day. Now, even like sending stuff to Dom, like, okay, we know what the story has been with them. Not great, but you kind of see where they're going. It's not like she explicitly said it was photos. She just said messages. So, you know, but the showing of everything is just like, is this necessary? And I don't think it was. But when you look at the overall story, Liv is the mastermind. Liv is the one controlling here. I don't think she's being played. I think she is playing everybody.
I think where people have made the connection was through a power dynamic. And that's what really brought forth the larger conversation. And there's also a part of me that's like, I just think they didn't think it through. And that I hope that they kind of take a step back.
Well, Triple H hasn't read the lawsuit.
So. I made the same joke yesterday. We are so in sync with this stuff. I made the lawsuit. Anyway, I think that that if they kind of double down on it next week, then we're in a different situation. That they're clearly just ignoring it and they want to make this a big part of their storyline, and that's it. If they step back and they're like, oh shit, we can't open ourselves out this way, then we know that someone pointed out the optics. And that's important in this case. That's very much important. And I understand people in the chat are saying like, oh no, this is a storyline. This is a story. Yeah, but sometimes people take things from real life and play it into storyline. We literally had a 45-minute discussion about that earlier in the program and how we are willing to give WWE benefit of the doubt for certain things. But this is one where it's like, you probably could have had someone be like, isn't this a little too close to the sun? We probably should take a step back. And this is one of those times. So it's all just it's in presentation. I'm willing to see if next week they just kind of ignored that it happened or ignore like I can see them in a room, just stupid frat boy mentality being like, oh, and then he shows the photo to his brothers and Carlito says, oh, that's cool. And it's a big laugh and everyone's going to be laughing and it's funny. Like, I get that. It was a comedy moment. I laughed. And then I was like, oh, damn. There's also this thing. And that's the reality of it. Not everyone's aware of the lawsuit or what's entailed in the lawsuit. So like there is a 90-10 kind of split as to the understanding of why this is not great. But I think it's worth calling out so that people understand that, yeah, no, this is something that's going on in WWE's world. Because remember, WWE is named in the lawsuit itself. It's not just Vince. So like, this is, again, it's a culture conversation. This is a conversation of workplace culture. And if you make it a part of a storyline on TV, it feels a little gross. So take a step back. That's kind of my final, conversation piece here. Just take a step back, see what you did, and not do that again.
I think you've got to be mindful of that kind of stuff when there is an ongoing lawsuit. I'll say this. I watched the MILF Manor. Everyone knows I watched the MILF Manor. Love the MILF Manor. It's not the most tasteful show in the world. They literally did a challenge a couple weeks ago where the women sent sext to the men. They dressed up in however they wanted to dress and they took, photos of themselves and then they got to send it to the man that they like. It was a challenge on this show. I'm watching MILF Manor and I'm just like, this is the worst TV show in the world doing this kind of stuff. This is terrible, but I enjoy it because in the context of MILF Manor, it fits in perfectly. It fits perfectly with what goes on in the MILF Manor. Now, WWE, it doesn't really fit with what's going on with this lawsuit and everything. And that's what you have to be mindful of. You have to be mindful of what else is happening in your world when it comes to this stuff. And I don't think they were just mindful. And somebody should have probably stepped up and said, like, hey, maybe this is okay. We shouldn't do this. I do think there is a conversation, kind of like we had earlier. People are going to be mad because people are looking to be mad. And that's how it always goes. People want to be mad about something and they've made up their mind on the issue before it actually happens. Because this was a conversation, the Liv storyline weeks ago. It wasn't as a dominating conversation, but it was a conversation weeks ago of like, is this good with the current lawsuit going on? And now when you do something like this, you open it up more to that conversation. And the people who were kind of speaking about it in more hushed tones previously because they wanted to give maybe a little bit of benefit of doubt, now it's nope. Now you're definitely just dismissing it with everything. So that's how people are going to operate online.
Said it once, I said it again. Please stop irrationally reacting to people's weird takes on the internet. Take a step back, take a breath, move along, or block them. That's fun too. There's enough bad faith takers out there. I again said this on Beyond the Bell. There was someone who posted the whole, Samantha Irvin's most cringe WWE moments.
Oh God.
And then they ended that tweet with bring back Lillian Garcia. I'm like, Lillian's been gone for like 5 years, 10 years at this point. What are we doing? It's someone who's either just trolling or being stupid, and like, take a step back, take a deep breath. They have absolutely no effect on the product. They have absolutely no effect on anyone's general feelings towards the employment of these wrestlers. Just go away. Stop it. Ignore them. Happens on all sides.
It does. It does.
So is Liv going to take everything? Is this going to end up with Dom and Liv together forever, or are Liv and Finn going to be the thing?
It feels like Finn is the one. It feels like Liv and Finn are kind of masterminding stuff because Priest made a interesting comment during the showdown with Rollins with, I'm the world champion. They need me more than I need them. So that comment, I'm sure, didn't sit well with the rest, especially now that Finn and JD are the tag team champions. Like, well, look, buddy, we actually did need you to win these tag titles. Liv is the one who helped us. So I think there's a lot going on in Judgment Day, and it does feel like they get split. And it feels like maybe Priest does his own thing. Rhea comes back. She's still with Dom. And then we have Liv, Finn, JD, maybe Carlito in there. Because Liv and Finn, obviously, they were together pre-Judgment Day with AJ, the Liv Club and everything. So there's a story there that Liv and Finn have history to try to mastermind kind of a Judgment Day split.
Hell yeah, Bullet Club. Let's go.
Bullet Club. That's what it was called.
Yeah, the Bullet Club. Yeah. That was the best. It's like the Boulevard Club, but for bullets. I think about that, the WrestleMania doc, the preview that they sent out, and it's Roman Reigns being like, when you think they got it, we swerve them again. And I'm like, are they thinking of doing this in this story and maybe having Dom side with Liv, which is something we talked about, and maybe Finn is just a big red herring? And this does tie into the conversation about what happens with Damian Priest and the World Heavyweight Championship scene after Money in the Bank, because like you said, the match between Seth and Damian now has the added stipulations where if Priest loses, then he's out of Judgment Day. if Seth loses, then he doesn't get to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship as long as Damian Priest is champion, which is like for another month after that match. So like to me, that was kind of the anchor that Seth is going to lose because Priest probably isn't going to keep that title for much longer. I do think that Priest leaving Judgment Day doesn't come because he loses the World Championship. It comes because he gets beat out of the program, beat out of Judgment Day.
I don't know. When I heard that announcement, it felt more like Priest was going to win. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I'm kind of just thinking in my head of things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when I heard that announcement, it felt more like I'm in agreement with you that it felt more that Priest was going to win. But I can also see that maybe Judgment Day cost him that match. And maybe like, well, yeah, we don't actually want you in this group. So that's why you lost. Not only are you out because you lost, you're out because we don't want you anymore. Like I could see that as well.
Champs only. Live in, Damian out. Okay, I could see that. I think given the fact that it was Seth saying, as long as you are the champion, and knowing that Gunther is coming up at SummerSlam,
yeah,
to me it was just kind of like, and someone in the chat, Henry says Priest needs the Seth win to make his reign a bit more legitimate. Now, I think that WWE understands that this title reign for Damian Priest wasn't meant to be his ultimate championship reign. I think they see that there will be more for him in the future. This is the first run, and this is like the establishing that he can be a champion and have the pedigree that when he inevitably goes back around to it and maybe wins it as a babyface, they'll be taking him a little more seriously than they did before.
Yeah, but you never know when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like,
of course,
it's easy to say that Priest might have another run, but Priest is already a little bit older, and there's so many people that you think might have a run. Like Gunther is a guy who we all assume at some point will have a run with the title. Seth, we assume he will have another run with the title. Drew, we think he gets a run. CM Punk, does he get the belt for a little bit? Braun Breaker, he's already in an Intercontinental title match. He could be in a world title picture sooner rather than later. Like, I don't think you can book with the idea unless it is a Cody Rhodes situation. Unless it is a Cody Rhodes situation of, hey, we know the end goal here. And I don't think they have that for Priest. The end goal for Cody is obviously WrestleMania 41 Rock title on the line. So could you have Cody lose in the meantime between that, get it back, go to WrestleMania and still be the champion? Yes. I don't think there is like a big time end goal with Priest. I think it is, he's the champion. We're going to go week to week. We have hit points we want to hit. When we feel it's time to end, it's time to end. Who knows if he comes back around? There's so many people that it feels like Priest may not get it again. Like it just may not. Like I don't know if people thought Kofi would get it again, but Kofi won, had the run that he had, never got it again. Kevin Owens.
This is also a very different scenario with Kofi.
Yeah.
Thank God for that breaking news.
I understand that, but like, Kevin Owens, Finn got injured, and it's like, oh, don't worry, Finn, once he gets back, he'll get it again. Never got it. Again, Owens, another person, never, like Sammy may never win a world title. So I don't think we can say, oh yeah, Damian Priest, this run is good, but the next run will be the more legitimate run.
I think that because of everyone that we're mentioning, they were under a different regime. And I think that kind of plays into the thought that you can cycle them in and out effectively and not cost them their body or their quote unquote spots. Some of these guys are older, absolutely, but there's still room for them at the top. There's still room. And again, this is a guy, we've had a lot of TNA on this show, TNA wrestling. There's a lot of top main event talent in that company right now. So as a result, you're seeing just a lot of like who can hold the title. And a lot of these names, it's good that you have those names and it's good that you have those opportunities. But I do think that someone like Damian Priest would benefit from the dropping of the title, the coming around, having a story making story or a career making story that levels him up further, and then recapturing the title in a big moment that's not the heel cashing in at WrestleMania moments. There's room for him. I don't know where or when. He, like you said, he's older, but there's still gas in that tank. If Ric Flair can do it at 870, then Damian Priest can do it at 40.
I mean, you would think, but there's just so much at play, and I don't think they're thinking that far with that. We're not even factoring in when Ricky Starks jumps over to WWE.
We didn't even talk about that yet. We got to spend a couple minutes. So Fightful Select reported off of the Reddit post that came yesterday. We had a bit of a, I don't even know if I want to call this an update or just a kind of a one tented article. It's not even like, it's just a whole lot of reporting on what's been going on with Ricky Starks. Best $5 in the business, FightfulSelect.com. I should probably pull this thing up because there's just a lot. Do you want to kind of tee this up? Because
it all started
long, but it's very long and it's very strange.
I'm going to tell you how it all started. It all started with a Reddit post that I think got deleted, but it,
yes,
got traction and circulated. Ricky was involved in some type of incident in Calgary last year where he drank too much and got into a fight and got arrested, and then he's turned down creative pitches and that he's just generally unhappy with things. That was the gist of this Reddit post. Yeah.
And then the report on Fightful Select was essentially like, yeah, okay, some of this stuff has merit, but not everything has, from what we talked to, not everything is true, or some people aren't, willing to speak on certain things that may or may not have happened, such as the incident in Calgary. Everyone's that Sean had spoken to, the AEW sources were like, they denied hearing about it. They denied commenting. They didn't comment on an official capacity. Ricky Starks never had legal trouble in Canada. He's worked in Canada since then. So there's little things like that have come through. The idea that he's shooting down different storylines. It's like he said no to one, but we don't know if there's been more than one. The reporting has been like he didn't see that doing the split with Big Bill and then having one go one way and one go the other would have worked for Big Bill. It wouldn't have made him such a big deal. And now, of course, Big Bill's part of the learning tree. So there is that. Starks is in a really weird position. Starks is in, and it's really weird being like the belle of the ball that you're not allowed to get into or that you're not a part of right now. It's a really weird conversation. Also proves that he's a really big deal and has a lot of potential.
Anyone who knows Ricky, seen him on television, knows that he has potential. He's a guy who has a star presence, a guy who's very good on the mic. His in-ring style didn't fully fit with it where AEW was and certainly is. Doesn't mean he's a bad wrestler or anything. It's just he's a different wrestler than kind of a lot of the high impact, high intensity wrestling that we see in AEW. When it comes to Ricky, I'm not speaking out of turn here. We all saw on television a tag team title reign wasn't very well thought out. It was a vehicle to, and it's not, we've talked about this before. Omega's health certainly changed some things around because they were supposed to do the match at World's End, and then Kenny had to go to the hospital, and so they had to change the plans for that, and then they reunited him and Sammy, and like the whole thing was a vehicle in the end for like Jericho, though. But the tag team title reign just didn't seem very well thought out. It seemed like they got the belts because other circumstances happened. And it was like, all right, well, who do we put the titles on? Hey, let's put the titles on Ricky and Bill since we just put them together and they seem to be working well together. That's what it was. And then there was clearly no plan after they lost the title because Ricky was basically off television. I know they were in the tournament and then they lost, but Ricky was basically off television. Big Bill went to do stuff with Jericho. Now, was there a pitch of, hey, we want to do a split? How does that work? I don't know. Like, I don't know what the idea was for that split. I do think that Ricky I think he got the short end of a lot of sticks when it came to Collision, because Punk clearly wanted to work with him. He beat Punk. He beat Punk in the Owen. Ricky Starks is the reigning Owen champion, for those that do not remember. He should probably be in the tournament this year, but he's not going to be. He beat him. Punk clearly wanted to do something with him and put him over. That was Punk's big first feud, real world title. Ricky Steamboat got involved and all of this stuff. That was a big deal. Punk left. What happened with Punk happened. They had to pivot to Danielson. Not a bad pivot. They did everything with Danielson, and then there was no great follow-up on that. And there was a moment to have a good follow-up on that. There was that moment when Danielson put his hand out to shake Ricky's hand after their match, and Big Bill kind of pulled him back, and Yuta kind of pulled Danielson back. There was a moment there where it's like, oh, what are they doing here with Ricky? Turns out they were doing nothing. Turns out that led absolutely to nothing, when it could have been potentially Ricky and Blackpool Combat Club, Ricky doing more with everyone there. They just didn't do anything with it. I think for a lot of reasons, they haven't done the best when it comes to following up with what they've been doing with Ricky. And I say a lot of reasons because it could be pitches, it could be injuries, it could be egos, it could just be things getting lost in the shuffle. They just haven't done enough when it comes to him. You know, people are mentioning the Copeland segment. I think if that hurt him, I don't know anything for a fact, by the way. I think it's bullshit on a lot of sides. If people are like, you know what, we're not going to use him after that. And I don't know if that's the case. So I don't want to say anything. I just think if it is, I think it's a lot of bullshit, because how many times do we see guys go out there and take these little shots? And I understand, oh, maybe you want to clear it type of thing. But like, Ricky's talked about that. So I can say what he said publicly of that. Like, it was just two guys just kind of ribbing each other a little bit. Two friends just kind of, you know, how you get with your friends, you're kind of bantering back and forth, and then maybe it gets a little bit too much, and then you got to stop the banter. It happens. Just happened to play out that way on television. I think if Ricky got punished in a big way for that, that says more about others than it does him.
Yeah, there's not much to add here, because there's just so much. It's not really, it's somewhat conflicting information, but it's also just nothing. It's like, we don't know, but we have some sort of idea if you look at the select report. And again, Sean had mentioned, like, this was tough to put together because it is just a lot of sides talking, but no sides really, and I mean sides like as in people Sean would speak to in this case, no one really saying the same thing. I don't know what's going on. I think a lot of people don't know what's going on, but Ricky has an idea, I'm sure. Tony has an idea, I'm sure, but they're not talking about it. So here we are.
Ricky's talked about, he's talked about stuff publicly, says he's cleared. He says he's just kind of waiting for something to happen. And he has publicly kind of put a little bit on Tony of like, do something. Tony gives the...
He's great. I love him.
Love Ricky. Want him to come back. All right, dude. Like,
my favorite response is like, yeah, but like you could do that.
Great question. Love Ricky Starks. Love to have him back. Like, all right. Well, he says he's cleared. I know Tony doesn't want to like throw anybody under the bus. I do think when talking points now get into legal matters, it does feel like you got to come out and say something to clear things up. And maybe it's just me, but when people are like slandering of, hey, he's getting in bar fights and taken away in cop cars, and if you're asked, I'm not saying he needs to make some big statement, but if he's asked, I do think he should probably give more comment than Ricky's great, love to have him back. Like, or I can't comment on that. If you can't comment on it, then I think that says more than just being like, no, none of that happened.
Maybe he'll
There's
be
a TonyCon media call tomorrow. Maybe he gets asked. Probably not, but maybe.
I don't know. Given the fact that it's in the reporting, maybe someone will ask. Who knows?
Yeah. There's a media call tomorrow. There's a scrum on Sunday, so there's opportunities there to ask. You know, LS saying, how can you put someone on TV who doesn't want to do business? I don't know what has been rejected or pitched. I don't know what business he's doesn't or does want to do. If the pitch is, hey, why don't you come back on TV and lose to the Butcher? No knock on the Butcher. He's got a big match against Daniel Garcia, Battle of Buffalo on Saturday. But like, I'd probably be like, yeah, I don't know about that, buddy. If the pitch is, hey, why don't you come back on TV and you can work with Samoa Joe after he gets done with Learning Tree stuff, and be like, all right, yeah, sure. I'm all for that. Then it's like, all right, yeah, maybe you should take that. I don't know what the pitches are. No idea.
Yeah, and again, for people like saying Ricky could be the wild card, like now you're facing Jeff Jarrett, and people are kind of coming around on Jeff Jarrett going a little further in this thing, unless it's Hangman, at which point it's like, all right, I guess this is where it's going. It's very strange. It's very strange. We'll find out tonight, AEW Dynamite. We should probably do the thing, right?
Ricky as the wild card makes some sense.
Yeah.
And that Jeff Jarrett is now a babyface. They babyfaced him. They just did.
They did.
So a heel Ricky Starks defending Owen Hart winner Ricky Starks facing Jarrett and probably losing. Like not terrible. Not terrible.
Yeah. We'll find out tonight, AEW Dynamite live in Buffalo, New York. What are we doing with this thing? But we got to do the thing.
Is there anything else to talk about? I feel like we missed stuff. There's a
we?
lot happening.
The WrestleMania documentary is releasing on July 4th. We can talk about that a little later because there's plenty of time.
Oh, I thought that was tonight.
No,
I thought the thing came out tonight. I did the article too.
I'm pretty sure it's next week.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is July.
Because
yeah.
the idea being like it's July 4th, people can kind of settle in and watch it.
Yeah.
Before they check out AEW Dynamite.
No, July 4th is on a Thursday, though.
It is on
July
a Thursday.
3rd.
I don't think so. Maybe it is
July 3rd. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a Wednesday. Yeah, that's why I thought it was tonight.
Okay, that's why. So that's going to be. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit later because we have the time. That's gonna be fun. All right. What do we do? What's the
very curious. I'm very curious if I hope it's. You know what it should be. They should upload this thing, and it does the YouTube countdown because it's a live video and everything, and it starts with the Rock and Cody segment where Cody passes him his spot, and then it does like screen glitch, not the Wyatt, so it does screen glitch, and it's the Rock though. The Rock's like, all you fuckers, I was holding this shit hostage. Go fuck yourself. He's got a curse because he's the Rock, In
the first 5 minutes, he knows better than to do that.
No, Rock doesn't give a shit.
You're right. WWE also WWE on YouTube like gets full creative control. Like they don't get anything demonetized.
Yeah, they're like the 5th most followed channel on YouTube. They're fine.
So if Mr. Beast can drop F-bombs, so can we.
All you motherfuckers, I was holding it hostage. All you chanting, you could have had The Rock and Roman Reigns feel the mana of that match. Instead, oh, we want Cody. We want Cody. Cody crybabies. We got to have Cody. He's going to take my spot. Fuck you. Fuck Cody Rhodes. And fuck Pharaoh.
Now go home and smoke some more crack.
That's what he should do.
That's how it ends. Oh my god! So that we'll talk about that on Friday. How about that? Because we're gonna have to get to the Money in the Bank preview and all that stuff eventually. I guess Forbidden Door preview because that's first. I'm a week ahead. All right. What's the style for today's AEW?
Throw some
Throw some ideas in the chat.
And throw some ideas of what we're going to talk about who's doing the rundown and what voice we are doing.
This is a very, very important one.
Yeah.
The Rock doing Meet the Grams, but it's Meet the Roads. Oh, there is so much wrong with that I want to see it. There's got to be something left in the tank from these awful Dynamite rundowns we've been doing. Kermit the Frog here to run down AEW Dynamite for June 26, 2024. Yay! I can't do the yay.
What? Does Kermit do that?
Yeah, he does the freak out, the yay. Yeah.
Oh.
I just can't do it as that. Jeremy doing the Lambs gimmick. Yeah, okay.
Boy.
AEW preview was Kendrick. I don't think either of us are equipped to do that one.
I tried to do Judas, and
that worked out.
Yeah, I didn't do terrible on that.
Did you see our Gable? Our Gable short finally got not struck, but got Russia can't watch it anymore.
Oh, really?
Partial block hit there.
Oh, I know though we had the partial block on the Drew one.
That's fine.
But I knew that like before I clicked publish. It was like India can't watch it.
India, Sri Lanka. It's because it keeps whenever the videos they keep coming down with the international WWE footage or whatever shows. That's what's hitting. Anyway, so AEW Dynamite tonight, live from the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. Kermit the Frog here, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on TBS and on AEW Plus on Triller TV, if it still exists by the end of this week. Tonight, you can watch the Forbidden Door get open as for the Blackpool Combat Club. That's Jon Moxley. This is turning into Guy Smiley. This is not working.
Let's say that's. I feel like that's Kermit.
It went from Kermit to someone else.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
who that's supposed to be.
It's time for Blackpool Combat Club. No, not doing the Muppets thing. So yes, I am insinuating that Buffalonians sound like Kermit the Frog. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Kermit sounds like he has a sinus infection.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man,
she from Inside Out too. I watched that movie.
I know that one, but it's all the same. What do we have? Am I still doing this awful voice?
What if we do? Hold on. What if we do? Jey Uso does the rundown.
Oh, are you doing this?
Yeah.
Yeet.
Yeah.
Everything's yeet.
We're gonna do a yeet button after all of this.
Oh, let's go. Are you gonna hit that, or am I gonna?
Yeah, I got it. No, I got it.
All right.
Inside Out 2 was great. By the way, this was a while ago, but best wishes, King Pate. He posted earlier about lost his dog 2 months ago, so best wishes, King Pate. I like he brought that up on the show previously, but we'll still send best wishes.
Absolutely.
We should get Boulder on this show, or Jameson. I feel like Jameson will just come on the show anytime.
Should let one of them do the Dynamite preview.
Oh,
yeet! Sorry.
I think we could do that. I think I could get Jameson to do a video or just come on and like do a rundown.
That'd be good. Let's do that.
All right. Okay. All right. Oh boy. The problem. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, you're trying to think of how to not make it sound like you're being racist, Deuce?
No. Well, yes. But...
Don't get canceled, Deuce. Don't worry. Someone asked us about this is on Beyond the Bell. They were like, if you do a 23andMe and you find out that part of you is Samoan, how are you? How does your name change? What would be your WWE name? And I was just like, oh, I'm Sola Sokoa Stein. and I'm not the head Oos. I'm the head Ois.
Paul Heyman's bloodline. He's
yeah, it works.
Yeah, he's fun. All right. Okay. There we go. Let's see. I don't know how this is going to work. This is going to be terrible. Hit the exactly no pop after the rundown. That might actually be better. Okay. AEW Dynamite.
Yay.
Live tonight.
Yay.
TBS.
Yay.
8 p.m. Eastern.
Yay.
Watch it.
Yay.
We got a big show.
Yay.
A tremendous show.
Yay.
One of our best shows ever.
Yay.
In the main event,
Yay.
Swerve Strickland, AEW World Champion,
Yay.
teams with
Yay.
Will Ospreay,
Yay.
the man he will face
Yay.
at AEW New Japan
Yay.
Forbidden Door.
Yay.
They will be facing
Yay.
the Gates of Agony,
Yay.
Bishop Khan,
Yay.
Toa Leona,
Yay.
Can Swerve Strickland
Yay!
and Will Ospreay
Yay!
coexist.
Yay!
Plus,
Yay!
we're going to hear from
Yay!
AEW TBS champion
Yay!
Mercedes Moné.
Yay!
What will she have to say
Yay!
before her big match
Yay!
against Stephanie Vacker
Yay!
at AEW
Yay!
New Japan
Yay!
Forbidden Door
Yay!
title
Yay!
verse
Yay!
title
Yay!
Forbidden Door
Yay!
Mercedes Moné
Yay!
Stephanie Vacker.
Yay!
Also,
Yay!
we're going to hear from
Yay!
MJF,
Yay!
Maxwell,
Yay!
Jacob,
Yay!
Friedman.
Yay!
He will speak
Yay!
ahead of AEW
Yay!
New Japan Pro Wrestling
Yay!
Forbidden Door
Yay!
when he faces
Yay!
Hechicero
Yay!
in the Owen Hart.
Yay!
This is a separate match.
Yay!
This got nothing to do with MJF.
Yay!
It's got nothing to do
Yay!
with
Yay!
Maxwell,
Yay!
Jacob,
Yay!
Friedman,
Yay!
and the Owen Hart
Yay!
Foundation Cup Tournament.
Yay!
Jay White,
Yay!
Ray Friedman,
Yay!
who will advance
Yay!
AEW Dynamite
Yay!
tonight,
Yay!
8 p.m. Eastern,
Yay!
TBS.
Yay!
We also got
Yay!
trios action,
Yay!
Blackpool,
Yay!
Combat,
Yay!
Club,
Yay!
John Mox,
Yay!
Wheeler Unit,
Yay!
Claudio Castagnoli,
Yay!
taking on
Yay!
from New Japan,
Yay!
Los
Yay!
Ingobernables,
Yay!
Day,
Yay!
Hapon,
Yay!
Shingo Takagi,
Yay!
Tita,
Yay!
Hiromu Takahashi.
Yay!
Big showdown
Yay!
ahead of AEW,
Yay!
New Japan,
Yay!
Pro Wrestling,
Yay!
Forbidden Door,
Yay!
Trios match
Yay!
tonight,
Yay!
AEW Dynamite,
Yay! Yay!
8 p.m. Eastern,
Yay!
TBS.
Yay!
We also got
Yay!
Zack Sabre Jr.
Yay!
taking on
Yay!
Kyle O'Reilly.
Yay!
This is a match
Yay!
for
Yay!
all
Yay!
the
Yay!
sickos.
Yay!
This is a Yeet Sicko match.
Yay!
Sickos out there.
Yay!
You don't want to miss
Yay!
Kyle O'Reilly
Yay!
taking on
Yay!
Zack Sabre Jr.
Yay! Yay!
in the women's division.
Yay!
We got a tag team match.
Yay!
It's gonna be
Yay!
Saraya
Yay!
Anna Jay
Yay!
Harley Quinn
Yay!
taking on
Yay!
Tony Storm,
Yay!
Mina Shirakawa,
Yay!
and Mariah May.
Yay!
Can they
Yay!
coexist?
Yay!
A lot of coexisting
Yay!
happening tonight.
Yay!
AEW Dynamite,
Yay!
TBS,
Yay!
8 p.m. Eastern,
Yay!
live, only on TBS.
Yay! Yay!
That one was for me. Can't find the "Can They Coexist" video. The one that Tim and I used to do. I'll find it someplace. I don't know where it went. We did it. Probably The yeetiest episode ever. Call it in the yeets.
Yay!
But wait,
Yay!
there's more
Yay!
Yeah.
because
Yay!
Daniel Garcia,
Yay!
he will speak
Yay!
in Buffalo
Yay!
live
Yay!
AEW Eastern,
Yay!
AEW Dynamite,
Yay!
8 p.m. Eastern,
Yay!
TBS
Yay!
tonight. You know what we actually got to do? The most important thing we can do on this show today, Joel.
What's that?
Let's check.
Also, this is hilarious. We're on a surround sound system. First of all, if you're watching us on your television, on your surround sound, I'm sorry. Also, thank you. What were you saying?
The most important thing we can do, Joel, on this show, because nothing else matters, as we have learned.
Accurate.
What is the lead-in for Dynamite tonight?
That is a very important question. I feel like we're back to banging theories.
Live tonight. All right, I got a better bit.
Okay.
It's my Tony Khan. We're going back to Tony Khan. You don't want to miss it tonight. Live, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's the Big Bang Theory. It's the episode, The Bad Fish Paradigm. What's going to happen on the Bad Fish Paradigm tonight on the Big Bang Theory at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Live tonight, only on TBS. Penny opens up to a reluctant Sheldon after a less than stellar first date with Leonard, placing him in an uncomfortable position of having to keep a secret. How will Sheldon react to having to keep this secret from Penny and from Leonard after Penny goes on a date with Leonard? You don't want to miss it. Live tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. It's the Big Bang Theory. It's the Bad Fish Paradigm. Don't miss this episode. Live tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Big Bang Theory. How will Sheldon and Penny get along? Can they coexist? Can Sheldon and Penny coexist after Penny goes on an awkward date with Leonard? Tune in live tonight, 8 p.m., 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Live tonight, Big Bang Theory, only on TBS.
Buddy, they start airing Big Bang Theory at 4 p.m. Eastern on that channel.
The lead-in is the
I
episode
know the lead-in, but this is like making up for lost time, starting at 4 Eastern, and it's just episode after episode until Dynamite, and then Modern Family at 10. So clearly, you're good. They're doing a whole Modern Family, like, oh my god, they run Modern Family from 10 till 4 a.m. when they start airing Family Man. Does TBS air any original content that isn't AEW?
No.
Well, I got basketball for one more season when it comes back. It's just Friends, Big Bang Theory, Family Matters, Modern Family, Men in Black. Dude, that's great. Anything else to plug before Friday?
No.
Let's yeet our way out of here. Go watch whatever you want. I don't care what you watch. Just go enjoy it and have a good time. We'll be back on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I'm Match Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.